Hey, g'day. Right, yeah, as you can see, I've done here, I completely ground this rust repair panel, puttied it, sanded it, yeah, just with I used a, I don't know what you call it, speed file, or sanding board anyway, and then two different blocks, a flexible one and a solid one with 80 grade, so yeah, it's a 36 on the firewood, so I took it down initially. This piece here, before I welded him in here with the guard and the door on. I had that piece off. I had the guard and the door off. I welded this piece in first, then I put it all back on and yeah, welded the top one with the guard and the door on. So I know that that edge matches the guard and the door. And yeah, there's no putty around the edge. Up here, I couldn't line it up with the bonnet because the bonnet itself's bent. So it was low here, so that's when I cut it off, and I've lifted it, raised it up to match this panel, and kept it straight, raised it up the same amount all the way along, up to about here, because this was already the right height. So yeah, and I've puttied it, I've gone over it with a file board, so I know that that's straight now. So yeah, that's basically well finished up to the state. I'll put 2-pack primer over that, but yeah, I'll straighten the bonnet up to match this panel now, because I know that's straight. This was a little bit lower than I thought. It's probably about 3mm of putty just in this spot here, and I couldn't I got in there and knocked it up a little bit, but the thing that you have to get right, when you got holes in, like this is a hole for the windscreen washer, and this is a hole for the wiper itself. You can't have putty on the openings like this. You have to have the panel. It was difficult, but yeah, I managed to get a hammer just in there. It was just enough room to get in there and just hammer up this area here, so there's no putty over that hole, because that's got to be just metal thickness, or your washer's not going to fit in there. And same here. So I made sure I had a ruler across here, a straight edge across here and here, and I made sure these two areas were up to level, so there's no actual putty around that hole or around this hole. I just put a fingerprint in that, it's still wet. Not that it matters. As I said, I'm going over this with a 2-pack primer, and this is like months away. It'll be probably October, November before I put 2-pack primer. I won't be doing that till the whole thing's done, whole beam. But I was sitting there looking at it today, I was thinking about, it reminded me what the TAFE teacher taught me, or told me. Like, I did a short course on painting at night TAFE, and I remember the teacher telling me, he said, don't try and do the whole car at once. He said, you'll never finish it. It'll just become an impossible task, and it'll become daunting, and And I thought, yeah, I'm really setting myself up here by doing all the welding, because, I'm going to have a whole lot of, finish all the welding, and then I've got, like a whole week of grinding, then a whole week or two of puttying and sanding, and, it just becomes too big a job. And I was sitting there and I thought, what I got to do now is finish each part. I'll finish it up to the primer stage. So that's what I'm doing. And because the primer won't be going on it for months. I haven't even bought it yet. It's like $200 a tin. And the other thing is, when you put your high build primer on, you've got to wet rub it. And what happens is it absorbs through the primer and it soaks into the putty, and it just stays wet and causes rust. So for the amount of, as I said, for the amount of time it's got to sit in bare metal, and for when I wet rub it, I decided to go over it with this red oxide primer and completely seal it. And I have used this primer under paint, but only on small jobs. I'm hoping it's not going to cause me a problem in the long term. Although sort of enamel paints have changed anyway recently. They smell different. They've used a totally different solvent. Like it's no longer terps or anything like that. It's all old hat, outdated now. So I don't think it's thinners either. It doesn't smell like thinners. But anyway, it's some other type of solvent. And for that reason, it's probably going to be okay under the final coat of paint. But I said I'm only speculating. I'm hoping I'm right here. I'm hoping I'm not going to have a problem down the track with paint peeling off or something. But but as I said, I wanted to make sure it doesn't rust out underneath the putty. And that was the main thing. And also, by putting the paint over it, you can tell straight away, like you look at it and that area's finished. So as I do each area, it's not going to be playing on my mind. It becomes less and less of a job with each area that I finish. So that's what I've decided to do. I didn't actually quite finish this, but I made a decision today to finish this area and get primer on it. However, I ran out of MIG wire, and I had fully welded it all. And then on the clean-up, I found a hole just in here. There was a couple of holes in here, actually, 2 little ones. And I got my old flux core wire out, put that back on. I didn't transfer it back to, I didn't swap the polarity or anything, because I think it affected me welder. It took me welder a while to start welding properly again, so I don't ever want to do that again. And as I said, I was able to MIG up these little holes, but it just kept blowing out this one. This one's a little bit bigger. So I decided to just stop, and I can do the main part of it. Well, I've done the main part of it, and I'll get some more MIG wire tomorrow and finish off that little bit. But sort of a good thing anyway, because I had 0.9 wire in the MIG, and you're welding 0.9 panel with 0.9 wire, and that's why you end up with these really big daggy welds, So I'll go in tomorrow and I'll get some 0.6. It just does a much neater job, far less grinding. I mean, this is really daggy because I had to open it up, and I had like a 3mm gap, 3 or 4mm. Especially up here, it's probably closer to 5 up here. So I had to inlay fencing wire into it and weld over the top of it. So that's why there's just so much weld on here. But that's what it was. If you'd seen it before, it was the same across the front here, and it cleans up. Just a bit more work. So something to think about if you taken on a big project like this. Yeah. If you do it in stages, it's, you know, you get your little rewards straight off, you know, you get that bit finished and it's rewarding, and it's not, you're not looking at a whole car unfinished anymore, you know. It just becomes more and more complete. So, but yeah, from here, next thing I'll do is this part here. And get this finished. I'll get the door back on. I've still got a little bit of, on the back of the door, I've got to fill in a little bit here. There's a bit too much gap. And I've got to lay some more across the bottom. I've got too much gap across the bottom. I'll get that done. I've also got, yeah, protector strip holes that I've got to weld up. So, yeah, I'll get that done. And then I'm going to get this quarter done. And the reason I want to get all this bit done, yeah, so I can get my fuel tank back in. So, I mean, yeah, hasn't had fuel in it for 3 years, but yeah, doesn't mean I couldn't ignite. So, yeah, that's what I want to do next. I'm a little bit uncertain about this, so I've done little jobs by doing, like, if you haven't watched the previous video, there's 3 main creases in it, 3 main dents. They go down like this, and the whole back of this has actually been pushed over a few mil. I think that's what caused it. When it come over, it's pushed that back in. But the point I'm getting to is it's all stretched, so yeah, when it's stretched that bad, you've got to shrink it again. And you know, especially on a panel this size, you push the dent out here, it'll pop in somewhere else because the metal's going to go somewhere. And you know, a panel beater would get the oxy out at this point and do a heat shrink. But I don't have an oxy and I don't know how to do it properly. And yeah, by putting a heat on it, you can make it worse real quick. You can totally destroy it. So I'm not even about to. Even if I had an oxy, I don't think I'd attempt it anyway. So, but there is another way of doing it, and that is you put cuts in it. You cut where the dents are, where the stretch is. You straighten it up, and then where you've cut it, the panel will overlap. The stretch metal will overlap itself, and then yeah, you cut away the overlap and then weld it back up. And so I've done this on small areas. I've never done it on a panel this big yet, so sort of wouldn't say I'm worried about it. I feel sort of reasonably confident I can do it, otherwise I wouldn't take it in the first place. But yeah, as to how well it turns out and how much putty it needs after I'm finished is yet to be seen. Yeah. The other thing is that, you know, I'll get this done and the door done. And I can do the guard, but I can't really, I've done all the welding, I can't really straighten it up and fit it all until I get this front panel back on. I can't get the front panel back on until I move it out from the wall. And yeah, I've pushed it over for the reason that Volkswagen's coming in here tomorrow. So, but yeah, I've stripped all this out. If you haven't seen this before, this is a Premier front that I had on the ute prior to this. So yeah, I've been using this front for really close to 20 years. I bought it while I was in Sydney at the Hawkesbury swap meet actually. But yeah, it rusted out down the bottom. This whole bottom section rusted out. And I managed to get a standard front panel. It was actually bent up around the headlights, and but rust free down the bottom. So you see, yeah, I cut the bottom section off and replaced it, and yeah, done a rust patch there. I've actually found another rust oil, which I can't see at the moment. Must be on the underside. But yeah, a whole lot of cleaning up on this now. Get it painted. So yeah, when it goes back on next time, it's going to stay on. Be bolted on permanent. But, yeah, as I said, the Volkswagen's coming in tomorrow. I got I done a lift front end rear on the Volkswagen, and it's sort of banging around, and there's two things it could be. Like when you go over a big bump, when it fully lifts up, you know, when the swing arm comes right down, it bangs. And so it could be either of two things, that, you know, because I've lifted it a good 3 inches, maybe more, could even be 4 inches. I've lifted a lot anyway. But yeah, I'm going to lift it some more yet. But it could be that, you know, when the body comes right up, the shockies are fully extending. So it could be the shocky itself that's banging, or it could be the metal stops. The swing arms have got a metal stop, which is, it's a problem in itself. You know, it's difficult to take it off. You're gonna jack it up and try and pull it out past these metal stoppers, and it's quite dangerous. You know, if they come off, they and hit you, yeah, you do a major a major injury. So yeah, I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna cut the metal stops off, put rubber stops, and then move the shocky mounts up a couple of inches. I hang down too lower anyway. I've already bent one of them a little bit, caught it on a rock, and yeah, I thought, yeah, sooner or later I'm going to bust them right off while I'm out in the bush. So anyway, so it's time to get them done, and yeah, take a break from this. Anyway, I think that's enough for tonight's ramble. Still got a long way to go with this van. A lot to do. And yeah, this is what I was talking about, you know, like, so just on the guard, the amount of weld, yeah, rust patches right at the bottom, flip panels, yeah, and welding up protector strips, welding up damage, you know, like, it's like a full day just in this guard, just cleaning up welds and straightening it, panel beating it, and yeah, so yeah, that's what I thought of. Yeah, I better start finishing things, or I'm just going to have a nightmare ahead of me. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for listening to my rambles, and hopefully we'll catch you again. Bye.